At a family meeting, my parents casually announced they'd be using my inheritance to cover my brother's debts. I stayed quiet and let them talk. What they didn't know: I had already moved everything into a trust they couldn't touch. Zero access granted. It was a casual family meeting, or so they thought. My parents, sitting there so calmly, actually casually mentioned they would use my inheritance, the legacy my grandmother, Eleanor, had left specifically for me, to pay off my brother's gambling debts. Just like that. I just let them talk, watching their faces, listening to their plans. They had absolutely no idea. No idea that I'd already transferred every single asset, every last penny, into a trust fund they couldn't touch. Zero access granted. Their faces when I finally told them? Absolutely priceless. My name is Melissa, and I never, in a million years, thought I'd have to protect what was rightfully mine from my own family. When Grandma Eleanor passed away, she left me a substantial inheritance, not just money, but a beautiful property, investments she'd built over decades, and family heirlooms. It was all meant for me. So, when my parents called that important family meeting last month, I had a familiar knot forming in my stomach. In our family, important meeting had always been code for, Bradley needs something and you need to help. My younger brother, Bradley, had always been the golden child. My parents rushed to solve every single problem he encountered, while I was just expected to be the responsible one, the self-sufficient one, the one who would ultimately clean up everyone's messes. Another family emergency, my best friend and business partner, Veronica, asked, leaning against my office door frame. She could read me like a book. Apparently, I sighed, showing her my mother's text. "Wanna bet it's about Bradley again?" She just laughed, a dry, knowing sound. No bet. What is it this time? Another failed business venture? Divorce number 3? Tax problems? I rubbed my temples, feeling a headache brewing. I don't know, but it's important enough for a formal summons. What made this timing particularly suspicious was that it had been 18 months since Grandma Eleanor had passed. She was my rock, the one person in my family who truly understood me. While my parents doted on Bradley, she had taken me under her wing, teaching me about financial independence and self-respect. Her estate was massive, a historic property in Vermont, a diverse investment portfolio, and heirlooms dating back generations. The inheritance process had been slow, but the final distributions were scheduled for next month. And suddenly, my parents needed an important family meeting. "You know," Veronica said carefully, "I've been hearing some things about Bradley through the grapevine. Someone at the investment firm mentioned seeing him at the riverfront casino several times last month." My blood ran cold. "Bradley's gambling again?" Veronica nodded. "Apparently, he's been there almost every night, and not at the small stakes tables." A chill went right through me. Bradley had struggled with gambling in his 20s, burning through a trust fund before our parents bailed him out. He'd supposedly gotten it under control, but addiction rarely just disappears. That evening, instead of preparing for client meetings, I found myself digging through old family financial documents. As a financial advisor, I had copies of most of the important papers. Grandma Eleanor had insisted on it. What I discovered in those records changed everything. By the time I walked into that family meeting, I was 10 steps ahead of their plan to rob me blind. Growing up, my role was clear: be the responsible, level-headed daughter who never caused trouble. Bradley, 2 years younger, was the charming son who could do no wrong. My straight A's would get a nod. Bradley C's instead of D's? Celebrations and rewards. "You don't need the praise, Melissa," my mother would say. "You're naturally good at school. Bradley has to work harder." This logic extended to everything. Full story on channel, link below. Watch what happened next.